So this guy named Steven Skowronek comes along in the 90s and writes a book. And the book says we really only have 4 different types of presidents in the US. And the legacy of our presidents has much more to do with the political climate of the times than what they actually did in office, as well as whether or not they were able to justify their actions in office to the public. And under his theory, he actually predicts that Bill Clinton will be impeached. So here are his 4 categories. You have Reconstructionists. These are our most glorified presidents. You have disjunctionists, presidents who were seen as being ineffective. Notice that our most glorified presidents often come after disjunction presidents, such as Franklin Roosevelt coming after Herbert Hoover in the Great Depression, and Ronald Reagan coming after Jimmy Carter. You have articulation presidents. They come into office as incumbents, directly following great presidents, or directly following great economic times. And they're seen as not living up to the standard of the previous president. And then you have preemptive presidents, presidents who find themselves in trouble. They often come into office at the time that the other political party is having a renaissance. So Richard Nixon comes into office during a time of Democratic renaissance. And Bill Clinton comes into office when we're still reeling from Ronald Reagan's good days. Where do Trump and Obama fit into this? It seems like Obama is probably a preemptive president. It doesn't look like his legacy is going to be one of a reconstructive president. He wanted to implement a lot of reforms, but ultimately didn't quite deliver on the massive economic changes that were desired. Skowronek says that Trump could go down as a reconstruction president, disjunction president. It all depends on how the people come to see his actions. Whether he is able to justify his actions as necessary to the people. And if Trump ends up being one of these disjunction presidents, then it is very likely we will have a reconstructive president that directly follows him in office. He also says it's very hard to compare the old presidents to the new presidents because the presidency has become so much more centralized in its power. His new book is called Phantoms of a Beleaguered Republic, and in it he talks about the unitary executive theory. If you saw the movie Vice, that is mostly about Dick Cheney, is about the unitary executive theory, which is basically the idea that under the Constitution, the president can do whatever he wants. But the point that Skowronek makes is we've had a mistake in our presidency for a long time that we've been trying to recover from. And that idea is it's a different thing to be an administrator than to be a person who can gather a coalition and energize people. You don't really want the guy who can be the spokesman to be the back-end administrator. Those are 2 completely different skill sets. With Trump, we were seeing what it looks like to let the guy who's just the face of the campaign organize the back end of the government. It's a disaster, and it's one that needs to be fundamentally reorganized in our government.